So I'm with Janet Kees, who's a manager for batteries and innovation with ARN in the Netherlands. Welcome back, Janet.
Thank you.
Start by reminding us of the scope of ARN, please.
Yes, ARN is the producer responsibility organization within the Netherlands. Already for 30 years. We celebrated our highlights last year. And we do that, we fulfill the producer responsibility on behalf of the Dutch importers of cars, but also for batteries. So EV batteries, meaning not just batteries for passengers' cars, but also for motorcycles, trucks. And so since 2010 we do that, and since 2095 we fulfill the producer responsibility for end-of-life vehicles within the Netherlands, together with the whole entire recycling chain existing of ATFs, recycling companies, collection companies, shredding companies. So, and with that we reached a 95% target since 2015. So.
Okay, so here we are at the International Automotive Recycling Congress. You're a sponsor. Would you like to tell us why it's important that you're here again this year?
Yes, as ARN we are a sponsor since the beginning of IARC, and for us it's an important gathering once a year with all the relevant stakeholders within Europe and even through of other continents. And it's very important not to just look at your own country, what's happening there, but you also should look at what's happening in other member states. And it's a very good opportunity to talk with the entire value chain of the car. So we speak here with car producers, but also with other recycling companies, with colleague organizations, so pros in other countries, and that's very valuable for us, especially because of the current developments with new regulations coming up. So it's very good to have to exchange experience, exchange information, and to learn about new developments here.
And to what extent do you find that there is more and more collaboration up and down the supply chain of this industry now?
Well, that's starting. That's one of the topics during the Congress, that the circular economy goals of the European Commission can only be reached if you cooperate throughout the value chain. So don't just look at your own part of the value chain, but you should look at what's happening before you and what's happening after you. So that will be the only way to be able to come to a circular economy instead of a linear economy.
And how are you starting to take into account the new ELV regulation already?
Well, within ARN we carry out several projects to find out how the new targets of the regulation can be met. We do several projects, innovation projects with different companies, not just in the Netherlands but also abroad. To find out whether the targets can be met. How should we make sure to organize that? And of course, in this Congress, you also talk with a lot of colleague organizations, to learn from each other, because it doesn't make sense to do the same projects or the research by all member states by itself. So we also try to look what's happening in other member states and what can we learn from each other there.
And what are the 2 or 3 most important points to sort in the ELV regulation for ARN?
For ARN, the recycling targets on specific materials are quite important to develop. But on the other hand, the more restrictions on exports of vehicles that are not actual vehicles anymore, but end-of-life vehicles. So those are 2 topics that are very important to make sure that this regulation will work.
And finally, how confident are you that this industry will be able to work together to make a real circular economy in the automotive industry?
Well, it's crucial to cooperate with all the stakeholders in the chain, and I really sense a willingness and cooperativeness with all stakeholders, and we just have to do it.